and this is one use which speaking sententiously ought to possess. But there is another use of it which is superior to this ; for it causes orations to become ethical, and those orations are ethical in which the deliberate intention of the speaker is manifest. All sentences, however, effect this, because he who employs the sentence speaks universally about things which are the objects of deliberate choice. Hence, if the sentences are good, they cause the speaker to appear to be one who possesses worthy manners. And thus much concerning a sentence, what it is, how many species there are of it, how sentences are to be employed, and what advantages they possess. CHAPTER 23. Let us now speak concerning enthymemes universally, after what manner they are to be investigated, and in the next place let us show what are the places of enthymemes. For there is a different species of each of these. That an enthymeme therefore is a certain syllogism, and how it is a syllogism we have before shown, and also in what it differs from dialectic syllogisms. For neither ought things remote to be collected, nor are all things to be collectively assumed, since the former will be obscure from their length, and the latter will be nugatory, through speaking of things which are obvious. For this is the reason why the unlearned are more capable of producing persuasion among the crowd than the learned, since as the poets say, The unlearned speak more elegantly to a mob. For the unlearned speak of things common and universal, which are adapted to the comprehension of the multitude, but the learned speak of things which they know, and which are near. Hence rhetorical enthymemes must not be composed from every thing which is probable, but from things of a definite nature, such as are those things which appear probable to the judges, or which the judges admit. Nor is it requisite that these things should be approved by all the auditors, but it is sufficient if they are approved by the greater part of them. It is likewise requisite not only to collect from things which are necessary, but also from things which have a frequency of subsistence. In the first place, therefore, it is necessary to assume that concerning the thing of which it is requisite to speak and syllogize, whether by employing a political or any other syllogism, concerning this it is necessary to possess all or some of the things which are inherent in it. For if we possess none of them, no conclusion can be made from nothing. I say for instance, how can we advise the Athenians to engage in war or not, unless we know what their power is, whether naval or land, or both, how great it is, what their revenue is, who are their friends and enemies, and farther still, what wars they have waged, and how they were carried on, and other things of the like kind. How likewise could we praise them if we were not acquainted with the naval battle at Salamis, or the battle at Marathon, or the deeds which they performed for the Heraclidae, or any thing else of the like kind? For all men praise others from beautiful transactions which exist, or appear to exist. In a similar manner also, in blaming the Athenians, we must direct our attention to the contraries to these things, considering what particular of a contrary kind pertains to them, or appears to pertain to them, such as that they enslaved the Greeks, and subdued those who fought with them against the barbarian, and behaved most intrepidly, viz. The Aegineta and Potidata, and other things of the like kind, and whatever other crime may be laid to their charge. Thus too, both those who accuse, and those who defend, accuse and defend, by directing their attention to inherent particulars. But it makes no difference whether we speak of the Athenians or the Lacedaemonians, of God or man. For he who advises Achilles, who praises or blames, accuses or defends him, must assume things which are inherent, or appear to be inherent, that from these he may in praising or blaming show whether any thing beautiful in conduct or base is inherent, in accusing or defending may show whether any thing just or unjust is inherent, and in advising whether anything advantageous or detrimental is present. The like method must also be adopted in every other thing. Thus for instance, in investigating whether justice is good or not, our attention must be directed to what is inherent in justice or in good. Hence, since it appears that this method is adopted by all men, whether they syllogize more accurately or remissly, for their assumptions are not derived from all things, but from such as are inherent in each particular, and through reasoning, since it is evident that it is otherwise impossible to prove what they wish to prove, this being the case, it is obvious, as we have shown in the Topics, that about each question in things contingent, and the time best adapted to them, it is necessary to have, in the first place, things of a more select nature. The investigation, likewise, must be made after the same manner in things of an unexpected nature, so that our attention must not be directed to the indefinite, but to things inherent, which are the subject of the oration. Of the things inherent, likewise, the greater part, and those which are nearest the subject, must be included in the oration. For by how much the greater the number of things inherent is which the orator possesses, by so much more easily will he prove that which he wishes to prove, and by how much more proximate the particulars are which he details, by so much the more appropriate will they be, and less common. But I call common things indeed such as to praise Achilles, because he is a man, and because he is among the number of demigods, and because he fought against Troy. For these particulars belong also to many others, so that praise of this kind no less pertains to Achilles than to Diomed. Things peculiar, however, are such as happen to no other person than Achilles, such as to have slain Hector, the bravest of the Trojans, and Cygnus, who being invulnerable prevented the Greeks from descending from their ships to the land, and that being very young he entered into the army, though he was not bound by an oath to fight against the Trojans. These and other things of the like kind are peculiar to Achilles. This therefore is one place of selection, and is the first topical place. CHAPTER 24. Let us now speak of the elements of enthymemes. But I call the same thing the element and place of an enthymeme. Let us however first speak of those things which it is necessary in the first place to discuss. For there are two species of enthymemes, and the first species contains ostensive enthymemes, which show that a thing is or is not, but the other species is adapted to confutation. They differ also in the same manner as in dialectics an elenchus and syllogism differ. But an ostensive enthymeme is when the conclusion is collected from things acknowledged, and the enthymeme adapted to confutation is when things not acknowledged are collected in the conclusion. Nearly therefore places have been delivered by us about each of the useful and necessary species, for propositions respecting each have been selected. Hence we have shown from what places it is requisite to derive enthymemes about good or evil, the beautiful or the base, the just or the unjust, and in a similar manner places have been assigned by us concerning manners, passions, and habits. Again, therefore, it remains, that after another manner we should assume universally concerning all the three genera of orations, indicating which of them are adapted to confutation, and are ostensive, and what are the places of apparent enthymemes, but which are not enthymemes in reality, since neither are they syllogisms. But these things being rendered manifest, we shall discuss solutions and objections, and show whence it is requisite to adduce these against enthymemes. One place, therefore, of ostensive enthymemes is from contraries, for it is necessary to consider whether one contrary is inherent in another, subverting indeed if it be not inherent, but confirming if it is inherent. For instance, we may thus show that to act temperately is good, for to act intemperately is noxious, or as in the Messenic oration of Alcidamas. For if war is the cause of the present evils, it is necessary to correct those evils with peace. For as a certain tragic poet argues in Greek Sceneries, if it is not just to fall into anger with those who have done evil willingly, neither is it fit if any one has acted beneficently from compulsion to be grateful to him. But if to speak falsely is, among mortals, calculated to persuade, it is requisite to think that on the contrary many things are true, which are considered by mortals as incredible. Another place is from similar cases, for it is necessary that they should be